2 words for us to play with today: depth and delight. And are we not in the deep end of the pool? Holy moly, of the transformation pool. And do we not have an amazing opportunity to find some delight in it? Interesting, we're playing in the 3Ds. Interesting, 3Ds, 3D. I just pulled discernment as well. So we're in depth, delight, and discernment, the 3Ds, as we navigate this 3D density. Wow, I'm gonna wait to get started for just a moment more, but I just want to give a little bit of voice to just all the feels, right? So much that we're feeling. It's this like expansion and this, I don't know about you, but one day it's just this huge expansion and feeling like everything is so right and so working so well, so bountiful, so expressive, so exciting. And then the next day, it's like, this is literally like the birth, right? It's the contraction. It's like, oh, everything feels hard. It feels like it's hard to get footing, hard to get clarity, hard to get movement, hard to get momentum. It's every day is a new day, right? So we move with discernment through the depths to follow our delight, to find our delight, to find delight, right? To find the light. To be in the delight of finding the light. This is where we are. So I just wanted to come in today and just breathe. My guidance is saying to breathe inspiration to you, to let you know that you are in fact the divine beings, that you are in fact immensely supported, that you are in fact so deeply loved. Just to give voice that you are. Everything you need, want, and desire is in wait for you. It is here for you. Basically, the guidance is in this moment is saying, like, do not stop. Just keep going. And yes, there's this perception of so much being lost, so much being stripped away. You know, here on the West Coast, we're moving through a lot of fire, a lot of destruction, remembering always that fire, the element of fire is the great transmuter, right? This earth is in a grand transmutation. And I do not believe that there is a human alive on this planet that is not going through some sort of letting go, of releasing, right? Whether it's releasing the old belief systems, whether it's releasing, jobs, relationships, homes, belief systems, beloved, loved ones, through separation or through even transformation, through departing this plane. Every being on this planet is getting stretched into a new expression, right? And we're getting stretched into the letting go. We're getting stretched into the opportunity to let go, to allow. Again, attached to nothing, allow for everything. And we must trust, even though it's really hard to see in the depths of that letting go, that there is a divine order, and that everything leads us closer to the promised land, is what I want to say. Nothing is ever happening to us. It is always happening through us. And we are all sovereign at a very extraordinarily high level. That everything will, in its way, in its time, in its pace, in its space, work out. It always will. It always does. It always has. And all that is divine would not come to the space of this like almost near tipping point of acceleration of consciousness only to drop you, only to forget you. It's all becoming hyper exposed, hyper expanded, because this is birth, right? We contract, we expand. We get really uncomfortable, we get really blissed out, right? This is active labor is what I want to say. And what we're doing is we're birthing a new earth, and that we're birthing a new consciousness. No one said this would be easy, but they all have assured us it would be worth it. That is what my guides have said for years now. It shall be worth it. So move as you move, be as you be. And if you're feeling good in any of your emotional expression, then by all means stay there. If your emotional expression is not bringing you the greatest delight or bringing you in the greatest expression of your light, then you have an opportunity to shift it. Just before I got on this live with you, I was in this place where I'm like, gosh, everything that I'm touching is not working today. And I'm moving into a little bit, was moving through a little bit of shame, a little bit of my judgment, that like, woe is me, what is happening? And I realized in that moment, because I could see with my real eyes, I could see and observe myself in a vibrational frequency that first of all is probably not true with the things that I'm judging or perceiving that someone else is judging or many others are judging about me. Probably not true. And what do I choose in this moment? What in this moment can I choose to be in my greatest expression? And so I chose to go to neutral. I chose to go to, what if none of the story that I'm telling myself is true? And what would it be like if in fact that person that I perceive to be judging me because I'm actually judging myself, what if they were actually loving me infinitely? How would I feel different if my perception was that perhaps I'm being loved at a higher level? And then that gave me pause and an opportunity to perhaps love myself at a higher level and move from the judgment of self, right? So everything is a reflection. Everything is, is this opportunity to see with a reflection of self from a bigger level. And everybody that we perceive or believe outside of ourselves is doing, believing, saying, thinking, being anything is all really an opportunity for us to turn the gaze to our inner landscape and come back to the truth that you are a sovereign being, you are of the light, and everything really is always working out for you. So we take pause, we take a breath, and we await the next expression, the next emotion. And is it one that makes you feel good? Because when you're feeling good, you're in the greatest expression of your light. So part of what I wanted to talk about today was the convincing. There's so much fighting going on in the energetic realms, in the earthly plane realms, right? So much separation, so much like fighting. Like, I need you to hear me. I need you to hear what I believe. I need you to believe what I believe. I need you to see what you can't see. And there's almost this desperation in the collective because the divide is so strong and everybody's holding so much onto their convictions and into their beliefs and fighting so much to be right. When many are fighting for their rights too, which is an interesting reflection. So the opportunity and what came through from Spirit was that every time you go to battle for your side, that you're fighting for your belief in your own worth. Interesting. So we're out there in the world fighting for what it is we believe, fighting for our rights in many ways from our human perspective of our human rights that have been given or taken, however you perceive it to be. And what they're saying is it all comes back to a deep belief system about your own worth. Fighting for your right to be, to express, to believe. And so it's an interesting lens, but what they said was you are worthy of the infinite and expansive life that you deserve, that is your natural blueprint. You are worthy of it. And they were saying that when they, being my guidance, the divine council, the council of light, they were saying, when you stand in the full sovereignty of your blueprint of your worth, and you know that you are worthy of the salvation and the freedom that you most desire at soul level. When you stand in that worth and in that truth, you become a vibrational sequence that is greater than any word you will ever usher. Where you are fighting, they say, put this energy into the essence of being your greatest expression and watch how the outer world changes. So when you are fighting, they say, believe as you believe. But when you are fighting to convince another, your fight to convince another that they are wrong and you are right does not make you more right. It makes you stand in less of your own innate power. So then the question comes, is what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, what I'm responding to, is this my most loving expression? Am I expressing in my greatest love in this moment? And there is no greater opportunity for this than just scrolling through Facebook, right? Ooh, triggered. Ooh, this person's angry about that. This person's angry about this. And you can see so beautifully, if you're in the observation, you can see all of the sides and you can see all the distortion too. You can see really clearly, if you're neutral and you're observing, you can see the distortion of all of the lenses that are being shown to us as we evolve out of third density into higher dimensionality. If you're neutral, without finding a need to convince, to change, to proclaim, because your worth is no longer dependent on you being right, because everything about you is already right. You were born right? But the conviction comes in this attachment to third density and third dimensionality, where we want to prove that our political systems, no matter what they are, that they're right and that the other is wrong. And here's where the shift happens. They're just saying right now, if you are willing to stand in your conviction of what you believe to be right, it is your right, because you are always right. When you are in your love expression, it is always the right vibration for you. When you are needing to convince another that they are wrong so that you can be more right, you have fallen out of the vibration of love. And you have moved into into desperation, they're saying, into the lower vibrational frequencies of judgment, of anger, and of disallowance. And you, in that vibration, can never be right, is what they're saying. So this takes us to moving from the mechanism of the mind. The mind wants to convince. It wants to portray a story. This group person experience is right. This group person experience is wrong. And what that creates is even a greater gap fundamentally in disconnection, which is what the third density is working so hard to create within you. As long as you see yourself separate from, especially when you're in distaste or dislike or denial or even hatred of the perception that the other thing, the other person, the other party, the other whatever is wrong, then you have become less right, less righteous, less righteous. So here's the opportunity. Know what is that force around you. The energies, the entities that attach to the mind, that feed on the fear, on the pain body. Your pain bodies are being extremely activated right now. There's actually energies that attach to the pain body, and they come in and they want to they want to keep stirring the pot of your pain, of your discomfort, of your anger, of your hatred, because it keeps you fundamentally and functionally locked into third density. So when you play in that game, you are playing in the support of keeping alive the frequency of third density. And the only way to be free is to move back to what is right, which is what is righteous within you, which is your love. And if you cannot get from the place of your hate to your love, then you move to neutrality. You move into I observe without attachment. And only from that observer position can you move into the neutrality and find the pathway of your least resistance that brings you to the promised land to usher in this new earth frequency, which is that of divine love. Are you? Is this thought? Is this moment? Is this expression my greatest, highest vibration of love and acceptance? And if you cannot answer confidently yes, then you get to change. We believe that when we change this outside world and line everything up the way it's supposed to be lined up, according to what we perceive or believe to know, then we'll all be good. When you do your inner landscape, when you get into your own perception, your own vibrational frequency, to see that which you can see from a space of neutrality, to get clear if it aligns in the vibrational sequence of your own being. And is this offering me my greatest expression of love? When you are in that space, this is inner work. It is inner work that affects the outer resonance. When you are fighting for the outer resonance to change so that you might feel and find love, you are stuck in third density, and we will never get there from that. So we have this amazing opportunity to shift, to be so hyper present to every moment of what it is we are expressing and experiencing inside, because that informs directly what is being created in the outside world. So if you're fighting and resistant, can you lay your sword down, and can you pick up another frequency of love, of compassion? Because I guarantee that not one of us on this planet actually understands everything that there is to understand, because we do not yet have the capacity to understand it all yet, because we're still in the amnesia of illusion. So we do not have the capacity to see clearly everything that is to be seen yet, but we will in time, in short periods of time, we will see more and more. So when you are in fear, when you are in fight or flight, right? It's actually the body's mechanism for navigating fear, fight or flight. The sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, right? Fight or flight, it's fear activated. When you are in fear, you are in forgetting. When you are in the rest and digest, where you're in the receptivity mode, you're in the space of receiving. You're in the space of allowing. You are in the vibration of love and remembering. So I just wanted to give voice today. What are you fighting for? And is your fight delivering you in the most rapid way to the promised land? Standing in your convictions and standing in your belief systems is a very personal, interpersonal journey. As long as you're willing to be flexible, that all might not appear as it seems, that the blinders have not been fully removed from us yet. So not one of us can see with absolute 100% crystal clarity that which is true. We can't see it, but we can feel it. But we can only feel it if we've moved beyond the pain body into the light of our soul, where we are neutral and we are in the resonance of love. Then the truth, as it is aligned vibrationally, shall be felt by you. And it is not your job to convince. It is your opportunity to stand so strongly in your conviction of your light truth that it ripples beyond you into this collective. And that is how we usher in the new earth. I love you. I see you. I honor you. And I'm standing strong in my conviction that you and I are more alike than we could ever be different. And I stand in that conviction for the entirety of the planet at large. You are the love leaders. Lead with love in your own vibration, in your own heart. And let's usher this new earth in together. I love you.